a general introduction to parapsychology with a couple of bits of commentary. On the X-Files, the tagline was, "The truth is out there." But isn't it always, whether it's paranormal or not? Aren't we trying to find the truth of everything, whatever research, whatever investigation, whatever we do in any of our daily life dealings? Scully and Mulder on the X-Files, they got cases involving a wide range of mysteries of the unexplained, not just the paranormal as we consider it from a psychic perspective, but they had other mysteries as well. Some of the mysteries that they had focused on UFOs, some on things that have been called supernatural or psychic. Well, according to Kathleen Sky, a science fiction writer, there is no such thing as a supernatural. There are only things we don't understand yet. That's a great quote, because science is a search for an understanding of the world around us. And so many things today have been considered supernatural by people in the past. In fact, Martin Caidin, science fiction writer and good friend of mine who died a number of years ago, said, "What you believe someone else can or can't do hasn't got beans to do with the doing, or the lack of doing. If you just go back through your history books, you'll discover that just about everything we take for granted today in our daily lives was absolutely impossible so many years ago." Well, what Marty was getting at there is, when we talk about the supernatural, about the paranormal, these things are actually normal. They are part of normal human experience. And if we do go back through history books, we can find that so many things were misunderstood or not understood or had no explanation that were considered either impossible or beyond our knowing, supernatural for that matter. The idea that things can be explained, perhaps not today, but in the future, exemplifies the approach many of us take in investigating the unexplained. Specifically psychic phenomena, of course, including ghosts. My attitude is to look at these things as mysteries to be explained. I let curiosity and my sense of wonder take me over. You might say, if you were a Sherlock Holmes fan, the game is afoot. Although I never heard Scully or Mulder saying that. Another science fiction writer, David Gerald, said, "The hardest lesson to learn is that learning is a continual process." Now that's an important thing there, as far as I'm concerned, because what that means is that we continuously have to change and shift and learn more things and take in new information and perhaps modify what we already know. Robert Heinlein, another science fiction writer, had said, "Being right too soon is socially unacceptable." And that's been the case for many people in science throughout the years. Now, I'm not saying that parapsychologists are right, and that's why they're socially unacceptable, that we're too soon. It's just that parapsychology tries to understand these phenomena when the skeptics often say, ignore it. Skepticism, by the way, is healthy. Asking what else could cause me to perceive this, what else could explain this, does lead to, hopefully, real answers. The real answer may not be what you want, but it is a healthy way to go about understanding things. In many respects, it's much better psychologically to disbelieve in the paranormal than believe. That is, if belief leads to fear. Now, one of the interesting things is that fear causes people to have real problems with their phenomena, even if the phenomena itself is inherently not dangerous. It's better to have a sense of wonder, along, of course, with common sense, about anyone's paranormal experience than to have any other kind of reaction. Saying wow is so much healthier than saying, oh my God. And of course there is that other sense that I want to throw in here, and that's the sense of humor. I recently read an account of an individual who was investigating a cemetery, a place, by the way, that most parapsychologists doing ghost research would never be caught dead in. Well, I guess we would be caught dead in them, but we prefer not to be. Mainly because cemeteries don't have a lot of reports of ghosts. But this was apparently a cemetery that did have reports by living people of apparitions occurring at different times. Something happened while the folks were there. This gentleman and a colleague were there. And they thought at the moment that this was really exciting, but they have never been back to that cemetery again because they were afraid. In fact, I've understood from a number of accounts from different ghost hunters, amateur ghost hunters, that when things happen, actually paranormal things happen, they turn tail and run, never to come to this location again. I can't understand that, because if you're so interested in having something happen, why run when something does happen? Anything unusual happens, and I'm there. I want to be able to experience it myself, and my reaction is, hey, that's cool. So when you're dealing with any of this, consider your attitude towards understanding the paranormal. Consider your attitude. Now, some of these experiences that people have of an extrasensory nature can be very emotionally trying. The same with some psychokinetic experiences. And certainly if you see a ghost or have an experience with a ghost, there are issues that can come up psychologically in terms of your reaction. But think about this. You're having an experience that you rarely ever have an opportunity to have. You're having an experience that so many people don't have. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out why you're having that experience? Wouldn't it be interesting to find out whether or not you could have it again or you could control the experience? That's your sense of wonder. And the sense of wonder is very, very important here. I want to say something here also about being skeptical. Most of the folks who call skeptics, most of the people who are skeptics, are what some of my colleagues have called pseudo-skeptics. They are disbelievers. They are not believers. From the get-go, they're assuming this phenomena does not exist. A true skeptic would be somewhere in the middle and say, okay, let's take a look and see what's happening. And you really want to look at both sides and all sides. In fact, to be skeptical, you must take a look and give fair balance to all information that you can get, and also recognize when there's perhaps some information you cannot get, in which case you can't make a decision. It's better to be saying, I can't figure this out, than to automatically conclude, oh, it must not be this, or it must be this. In other words, because someone reports some unusual psychic experience, you can't immediately conclude this person has actually had that experience, and you can't immediately conclude the person is crazy. Although either one of those possibilities could be true. You must explore this and find out what's going on. The true debunkers, the people who are disbelievers, actually act out in some of the same ways that the true believers do. And in fact, I probably had as many problems with the true believers as I've had with the true disbelievers, simply because questioning an experience to understand what's really behind it is apparently a bad way for people to think if they already are believing in either the existence or non-existence of something. Ask questions. That's my best piece of advice when you're looking at parapsychology.